Hi. So the year is ending, 2016 is at a close, and I read a lot of books this year. Uh, but mostly this video is about all the 2016 releases that I read in 2016. And there are good and bad books in it, and I just want to mention them because I think it's important to talk about the books that are newly released and very few people have read them so that you have a better idea of what to look forward to. Um, the one book, there are many books on this pile, but the one book that I don't have a physical copy of and I cannot show you the cover of is When in French. It's a nonfiction. I'm going to start with that book first. It was a beautiful book. It was a memoir. It was very funny, and it was about living in a country where you don't know the language, and you're living there, and you're trying to learn the ways and the culture of that country and the language. It was hilarious. I rated it a 3.5 out of 5. It was a good, nice, thin read, and enjoyed it. Next book that I'm going to talk about is Every Heart Adored Way by Sean McGuire. Now, this book came with a long list of recommendations. It is a YA fantasy book. I think a lot of people know about this book. This is about a home for the kids who've come back from magical kingdoms and who cannot go back to those magical kingdoms and are really upset because of that, or really traumatized because of that. It's about that world. I did not enjoy this book and I rated it a 2 out of 5, which was surprising. The next book that I'm going to talk about is Dreamology by, by Lucy Keating. This is, again, a YA romantic fantastical book. It's about a girl who has been dreaming of this boy in her dreams, and she sees him in real life and she doesn't know how he is exactly the same in real life. I rated this book 3 out of 5. It was a nice, fun, sweet read. Nothing that great or impactful. The next book I'm going to talk about is The Muse by Jessie Burton. I read this book last 2016, so I may be a little biased here, but I thoroughly enjoyed this book. This book was is about it's in two different time spans. It's about a painting uh, that of an artist that is just recently discovered, and this painting has survived wars and family upheaval and betrayal and all those things, and the stories unravel because of that. And it's beautiful. The characters are wonderful. I enjoyed it so much. I rated it a 4 out of 5, and this was one of my favorite books of 2016. Next is Relativity by Antonia Hayes. This is about a genius 12-year-old boy who has started falling sick, and his sickness and his genius ability can be traced back to his parents' divorce and why they separated in the first place. And it covers a very serious topic of shaken baby syndrome and many other topics of such. And I think it's a good it's a it was a very good book with which revolved around a very important issue, and she was able to give it true light, and she was able to actually focus on the issue but make the plot interesting at the same time. I enjoyed it and I rated it a 4 out of 5 again. The next book is part of a series, The Raven Cycle. The last book of the series, The Raven King. I enjoyed The Raven Cycle. There were 4 books in it: The Raven Boys, The Dream Thieves, Blue Lily Lily Blue, and The Raven King. There's no point in reading this book if you haven't read the other 3, but if you do happen to pick up The Raven Boys, I would say that you take it all the way to The Raven King, last book, because it was a really fun series. Thing that I loved about the series was the relationships and the friendships. I think Maggie Stewater did a great job with that. And I enjoyed so much that I'm looking forward to the next books by Maggie Stewater. I rated the whole series a 4 out of 5. The next book that I'm going to talk about is Don't You Cry by Mary Kubica. This is an adult thriller, and the only thing I'm going to say about this book is it's about a girl who comes home and finds that her roommate is missing, and the fire escape is open, and she doesn't know where her roommate has gone. The door was locked, and her roommate is missing, and she doesn't know why. It was thrilling, it was amazing, it was from two different perspectives, it was fantastic. I enjoyed it a lot. It was shocking at the right places. 4 out of 5 again. The next book that I'm going to talk about is A World Without You by Beth Revis. This is a YA psychological thriller. It's about a boy who thinks he can time travel, and he's lost his girlfriend in one of his time traveling expeditions, and he is stressed because of that. And he's living in an asylum. Sorry. It was beautifully written. It was from the boy's perspective, and I enjoyed it thoroughly. 3.5 out of 5 for me. The next book that I'm going to talk about is another series. This is the second book of the series. The series is, the first book was A Darker Shade of Magic by V.E. Schwab. It's an adult fantasy series. The second book is A Gathering of Shadows, and I enjoyed both books thoroughly, and I'm waiting for the third book, which will be releasing in 2017. Up till now, I've rated this series 5 out of 5. The next book is It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover. This was actually, I picked this book up. I had no idea what this book was about. I picked this book up on the recommendation of Kayla from Books and Lala. Enjoyed it so much. It's about abusive relationships, and I rated this a 5 out of 5. I thought it was such a great depiction of such a true depiction of what relationships can be. I'm not gonna say more. The next book I'm gonna talk about, I don't have a cover for this, so I'm gonna use my Coco reader because I read it on my Coco reader. Was Homegoing by Yagyasi. This is about a family. This is about two sisters and the generations that follow them. One line of family uh, is captured and traded as slaves and sent to America. The other family continues to stay and move forward in Africa, and it's just beautiful. The consequences, the decisions that follow, the way our minds change and evolve because of simple decisions and small movements across spaces. It was beautiful. This was a definite 5 out of 5 for me. I enjoyed it so much. It's a very thin book and easy to follow even with all the different narrators. The next book I'm going to talk about, I don't only have the cover for this, is The Wonder by Emma Donoghue. This was a very interesting book because of the premise. This is about a young girl in Dublin in 1920s, I believe, and she is claiming that she has been without food and water for 14 days. So a nurse goes to see if her claim is true. They're all treating her as a saint, and sorry, the nurse is skeptical of what they're saying. Was a very interesting and fun book. I love the fact that Emma Donoghue is able to immerse you in 1920s Dublin and do a great job of it. Her research was really step on, great, wonderful. The story was great. I enjoyed it thoroughly. 4 out of 5. Next book I'm going to talk about is last book that I'm going to talk about is Nab Girl by Hope Jaran. This is a non-fiction. If nothing else, you should read this book for the passion that Hope Jaran has for her profession. She loves plants, she loves trees, she loves and this is a book about trees and how they grow and how they mature and how they become. I think trees are the least discussed. We never talk about them. We talk about flowers and fruits and vegetables and crops, but we never talk about trees. And I think this book highlights the beauty of them and makes you fall in love with nature all over again. So this were my books that I read in 2016 that were released in 2016. Hope you got a few good recommendations off of it. I really enjoyed this year and I'm looking forward to the next year. Thank you.